Hi, this is the Azure AZ900 practice test 2. I've also made one more video prior to this. It's AZ900 practice test 1. If you have not looked at that video, so you may want to look at before proceeding the second video. So this practice test covers almost 40 questions on the Microsoft Azure AZ900 exam. So let's begin the exam questions. So this is the first question talking about your company has 10 offices. You plan to generate several billing reports from the Azure portal. Each report will contain the Azure resources utilization of each office. So which Azure resource manager feature should you use before you generate the Azure resource? So it's talking about generating the report and categorizing your resources based on the the department, based on the the group or the hierarchy or the application structure. So basically the tags is the feature which is used. You basically applying the label to a resource, the Azure resource, so that you can generate the report. So tags is the right answer here. Let's see the description. Because it basically logically groups all your resources into department wise. So you have the department like marketing, production, IT, and sales. So you can add these names labels to your resource so that when you are generating the reports, you will be able to generate the reports based on the tag. Template is a JSON document which doesn't which doesn't help for generating the billing. And the logs is basically locking your resources or the resource groups. So this is not related to this question. Policy, again, it talks about the company or organization level compliance and the standards. This is not suitable to the question. The next question is talks about you can create the Azure support request from support.microsoft.com. There is nothing called support.microsoft.com. So this is not from support request is not from the support.microsoft.com. You will be using the Azure portal for making a request to the Azure. So the Azure portal is the right answer here. Knowledge Center used for different purpose, and the security compliance and admin is used for the security and the regulatory compliance purpose. So Knowledge Center here is the Microsoft portal, which is knowledge based, where users can get details of their clarifications regarding the various Azure services. So the Azure portal is the right answer here. When you click on the support plus help plus support on the left menu, you will be able to see creating the request in the Azure portal. The next question is you need to view list of all planned maintenance events that can affect the availability of the Azure subscription. So which blade should you use in the Azure portal? So all the planned maintenance are available in the help and support, not in the advisor or the security center and the cost billing management. So the right answer is the help and the support. Let's look at the description or the details of these each and every option. Azure Advisor is basically gives the recommendations on cost, security, performance, and operational excellence. So it doesn't give the list of all the planned maintenance. Again, the security center is helps us for the policy and compliance, threat protection, and the the details of those components. Then the cost management and the billing is where you can look at your budgets and the billings and the invoice of your resources. So next question, you have a resource group named RG1. You plan to create a virtual networks and app services in that resource group. So you need to prevent the creation of virtual machines only in resource group RG1. How do you do that? So in order to prevent, here you see there are 4 options. Azure role is not related basically. So Azure policy is the right answer here. You can define the policy so that you can prevent creation of the virtual machines. So locks again will lock the resource, but if you unlock, you can still create the resource and the Azure VM. So the answer is A, and Azure policy. So you can also look at the description. Azure policy is correct here because it also prevents creation of the VMs. So you can create the different policies at your organization level, which sets your standards or compliance of the organization. Let's say you want to define a policy where you don't want to allow creating VMs in a particular resource group or in a particular subscription. That's the policy. So role is basically, owner role, contributor role, reader role, service connection role. So those are not the related. Those won't prevent creation of the Azure virtual machine. Tags we talked about. It's kind of applying the label to a resource. Lock is actually locking the resources or the resource groups. Next question is on, you have an Azure virtual machine named VM1 and was deployed using the template called RM1 JSON. You receive a notification that the VM1 will affected by maintenance. So you need to move a VM1 to a different host machine. So it's basically talking about a redeploying. So from the redeploy bed, you click the redeploy. So this is true. You have the redeploy option in the left now in the VM. When you select the VM, you will be able to see the redeploy. From there, you will be able to redeploy. So answer is yes. So fill in the blanks question. If the resource group name RG1 has a delete log, can delete RG1? Yes. So the delete log must be removed before an administrator, so that you will be able to delete the resources. So there are 2 categories of logs you can apply: read only and delete log. So question 8 is, you have 1000 virtual machines hosted on the Hyper-V host and a data center. You plan to migrate all the virtual machines to Azure pay-as-you-go subscription. So you need to identify which expenditure. So the question is on the CapEx and OpEx. So if you understand what is the CapEx and OpEx, you'll be able to answer this question. So identify which expenditure model to use for planned Azure resources. So which expenditure model should you identify? Here we are talking about migrating all the VMs into Azure pay-as-you-go subscription. So CapEx is the one you are spending money upfront, and operational OpEx is the one where you are actually pay-as-you-go subscription. So here the requirement is migrating into the Azure. That's where the operational comes into the picture. So operational is the right option. Elasticity is again related to increasing your resources instances on demand. That's not related to the question. And scalability, again, scaling up or scaling out. So again, not related to this question. Next question is on, your Azure environment contains multiple Azure virtual machines. You need to ensure that the virtual machine named V1 accessible from the internet over the HTTP. So you have 2 possible options here. we were talking about blocking the traffic or ensuring that the virtual machine will be accessible for the right resources. So you can do that using the network security group. NSG is the one where you will apply the network security group to a subnet in the virtual network and configure your incoming traffic and outgoing traffic by priority basis. So you can apply to the HTTP, TCP, all kind of ports, and you can also use the service tags, etc. So the traffic will be controlled either using the network security group, modify, and Azure firewall. So these two are related to the security. So these two should be the answers. Modifying the DDoS protection plan. DDoS protection plan basically prevent the DDoS attacks like SQL injection or cross-site scripting or any of the layer 7 threats. Identifying the Azure Traffic Manager call profile. So this is the traffic manager routing the traffic from on-premise to the Azure. So this is not related to the person. So you have an Azure environment. You need to create a new virtual machine from Android laptop. So if you have an Android laptop, so you can use the Azure Cloud Shell, which is a console app in the Azure portal on the right side, will be able to use when you are using the Android laptop. So does this meet the goal? Yes, that's right. So the similar question with different tool, like you need to create Azure virtual machine from the Android laptop. You should use the Power App portal. So there is nothing called Power App. It's the Azure portal. But does this meet the goal? No. So this is not the right tool. Which two types of customers are eligible to use the Azure government to develop cloud solutions? Azure government is basically, dedicated infrastructure, dedicated data center for the U.S. government. So the United States government entity and United States government entity and its contractors or relevant people will be able to access the Azure government to develop the cloud solutions. And the option 2 European government entity, that's not true, and European government contracts. So these are unrelevant, and these two are the answers here. So these data centers are securely built by the Microsoft, and you need a validation, and you need to contact the Microsoft for getting those validations to enter into these zones. So these are very much secured by the Azure cloud services. So next question is on true or false statement. To implement an Azure multi-factor authentication solution, you must deploy federated solution and sync on-premise identity to the cloud. So you can still do the MFA without syncing on-premise identity to the cloud. That is not correct. Two valid methods for Azure multi-factor authentications are picture identification and passport number. This is totally incorrect. For multi-factor authentication, authentication types could be, you can have the phone, email, text, etc. So passport number, these are not the valid identification numbers. Azure multi-factor authentication MFA can be required for administrative and non-administrative user accounts. Yes, so MFA is applicable for all those users. So the last one is correct, incorrect. No, and yes, that's the right one. So it's talking about an organization that hosts its infrastructure in private cloud can decommission its data center when the cloud is moved into the public cloud. So the answer is 3. So this is the cloud model. If you know the details about the cloud models. What is the hybrid cloud, public cloud, and the Hyper-V host? Hyper-V host is not even a cloud. Next question is on you plan to migrate several servers from on-premise network to Azure. You need to identify the primary benefit of using public cloud service for servers. So what should you identify? Public cloud is crowdsourcing solution that provides the corporations the ability to enhance the cloud. That's not correct. The public cloud is owned by public, not the private corporations. That's not true. So anybody can own the public cloud, including the private corporations. The public cloud is shared entity, that's true, whereby multiple corporations each use a portion of the resources. So that is exactly the definition of the public cloud. So that third one is correct. All public cloud resources can be freely accessed by every member of the public. Freely accessed, that is absolutely not true. So the third one is the answer. Again, true false question. Azure provides flexibility between the CapEx, also called capital expenditure, and operational expenditure, OpEx. That's true. It gives the flexibility because when you are moving from on-premise to Azure, you can partially keep some of the services in the on-premise and move some of the services into the Azure. So it basically gives that flexibility. If you create two Azure virtual machines that use the V2S size, each virtual machine will always generate the same monthly cost. So no, this is depends on the resource, the region. So if you are spinning up one VM at East Coast, one VM at West Coast, the prices will be different. So that answer is no. When Azure virtual machine is stopped, you continue pay storage cost associated with the virtual machine. That's true. So you need to understand when you say stop the virtual machines, there are two ways to stop the virtual machines. Stopping the virtual machine from the VM itself, or stopping the virtual machine from the Azure portal. So stopping the virtual machine from the VM itself is still allocated, and you will be still charged for the license, and you will be still charged for the storage accounts. But the computing power will not be charged. If you are stop the virtual machine from the Azure portal, that means you are actually deallocated the VM, but you will be still you have to pay for the storage cost, because the storage is actually created separately compared to the VM. So VM is stopped, but you still need to continue paying the storage cost because you are actually continuing with your data. So if you delete the storage, then storage service, then you don't need to pay that. So the answer is yes, no, yes. Which cloud deployment solution is used for Azure virtual machines? So this is a deployment solution, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So if you know what is IaaS, is infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure will be you are responsible for creating the infrastructure. In a PaaS, you are responsible for managing your application. So infrastructure is provided by the cloud service provider. SaaS, you will be given infrastructure and the platform both. So you will be managing you will be using ready-made applications. So you don't need to take care of anything, either storage or the database or any middleware or anything. So the question is asked for the Azure virtual machines are related to the IaaS. You plan to create Azure virtual machine. You need to identify which storage service must be used to store the data disks of the virtual machine. So data disks are stored in the blob, not in the files or the tables or the queues. They are all for a different purpose here. So answer is blob. That's one. So the question is, Azure policies provide a command platform for deploying objects to cloud infrastructure and implementing consistency across the Azure environment. So this is the definition of the Azure Resource Manager provider, where you can build your resources, deploy your resources, manage your resources using the RM template. So no change required, no change is needed is not the correct answer. Resource group, logically managing the resources, you will be creating the resource group. That is also not the right one. So Azure Resource Manager provides a command platform for deploying the objects to the cloud. So next one is the management group provider. Management groups providers, if you have hundreds of subscriptions, you want to logically manage those subscriptions, so you will be using the management group provider. So the third one is the correct option here. You see here the definition of Azure Resource Manager. You need to have the authentication, so you can use the Azure portal, PowerShell, Azure CLI, Cloud Shell using the Bash, or the REST clients. A team of developers at your company plans to deploy and then remove 50 customized virtual machines each week. 30 of the virtual machines run Windows Server 2016 and 20 of the virtual machines run on Ubuntu Linux. You need to recommend which Azure service will manage the administrative effort required to deploy and remove the virtual machine. So here we were talking about the ready-made script, which is actually create tested script. So you don't need to spend hours of time to build the script. So we were talking about the Azure Test Labs. Azure Test Labs basically provide all the ready script, and you can use that and deploy to the server. So because you have 50 and 30 servers, Azure Test Labs is the answer. Microsoft Virtual Desktops is totally different concept, so not related to the question. Azure Reserved Virtual Machines, if you want to save your cost, then you can reserve some of the virtual machines. So again, this is relevant to the question. Azure Virtual Machine Scale Sets. So scale set basically helps to make your resources available. So that's for the availability purpose. So that's not related to the question. You can look at the description of what is the Azure Test Labs here to understand the question in more detail. So this is a fill in the blank question. Is a big data analysis service for machine learning? If you look at these answers, so all three are not related to the question. So Azure Databricks is the right answer here. Azure Databricks is related to the data analysis service. And Azure Function, if you have small piece of code you want to run in the Azure, you can go for the Azure Function. Azure App Services again supports the web app, API app, mobile app. So if you want to build those kind of services, you will use the Azure App Service. And Application Insights is the monitoring tool, not related to the data analysis service and the machine learning. So it's totally incorrect. Dash detects the diagnosis and anomalous in the web app. So this is straightforward, the monitoring tool, which is Application Insights. Application Insights, if you look at the definition, it's the application performance management service for web app or API app logic app. So you can spin up the Application Insights along with your web application, and which is actually continuously monitor the live traffic of the application. So you can use the live stream in the application insights, or you can also look at the application map and exceptions, etc. Next question is, again, the fill in the blank question is a tool that provides the guidance on recommendations to improve an Azure environment. So guidance and recommendations are given as part of the Azure Advisor in the left nav in the portal. If you click on the Azure Advisor, it will give you all the recommendations. So that's the right answer. If you see, Azure Advisor is a personalized cloud consultant that helps you follow the best practice optimize. So cognitive cognitive service is the search service. This is not giving any, will not give any guidance and recommendation. DevOps, again, completely different platform, not related to the guidance and not related to the Azure services. And application insights, we talked, this is the monitoring tool, will not give the guidance and recommendations. Next question is related to the, you have an Azure virtual network named VNet1 in a resource group RG1. You assign Azure policy specifying that the virtual networks are not allowed resource types in a VNet is deleted automatically. So this is talking about the policies. The answer is no change is needed because once you configure or define the policy for not allowing the resource types V1 in the VNet1. So this is the right one. So, sorry, no change required, continue to function normally. So yeah, I'm a bit confused, but yeah, I think continue to function normally is the right answer here. So next question is on the information protection encryption. So this basically helps to apply the watermarks or the tags to your documents or email messages. So let's look at the Azure information protection definition. Azure information protection, sometimes referred as the AIP. It's a cloud-based solution that helps to organizations to classify and optionally protect its documents and email, applying the labels. Next question is, what should an application connect to retrieve the security tokens? So we were talking about the auth tokens, which AD will be providing these auth tokens. Azure storage account is not related to the tokens, but this is related to these three are related to the security options. But we were talking about the tokens specifically. So, certificate store used for storing the certificate. Key vault will be used for managing your secrets and keys, not the security tokens. Our security tokens are retrieved from the Azure Active Directory. So when you create the managed identity, let's say, you basically internally the application is actually creating these kind of security tokens. So Azure Active Directory is the right answer here. What Azure service provides a set of version control tools to manage the code. So here we are talking about the version control, not the Azure service itself. So Azure repo is the version control. Git repo manages the source code. So you can track your changes, you can commit your changes. All that happens in the Azure reports. So test labs, as we discussed earlier, you know, this enables developers to efficiently manage virtual machines or other app services. So storage is totally a different concept here, not related to the source control, and the Cosmos DB, which is related to the NoSQL data store, where you don't define any schema or which service provides network traffic filtering across the multiple Azure subscriptions and virtual networks. So we were talking about across Azure subscription. So Azure Firewall filter the traffic across the Azure subscription. Network security group basically is also there, filter the traffic between the between the subnets of the virtual network. So the question is on the across the subscriptions. And application security group is if you are actually looking for filtering the traffic between the group of applications. So that's the place where the application security group comes into the picture. DDoS protection is totally irrelevant and related to the question. So it prevents the DDoS attacks like cross-site scripting or SQL injection or any layer 7 security attacks. So the answer here is the application Azure Firewall. So if you look at it, basically filters the traffic across the subscription. So you have like on-premise and you have Azure subscription. So you can use Azure filter to protect the, filter the traffic. From Azure Cloud Shell, you can track your company's regulatory standards and regulations such as ISO 27001. So here the answers options are no change required, Microsoft Cloud Partner Portal, and the Compliance Manager and the Trust Center. So the answer seems to be the Compliance Manager, Microsoft Cloud Partner Portal. So this is a totally different one. Trust Center is again is a website used for the security, privacy, and compliance purpose. So that's not the answer here. Which of the following services process the data from millions of sensors? So it's talking about the IoT Hub. IoT Hub is the centralized device which actually connects millions of, process the data from millions of sensors. Machine learning is the concept where it takes the history and predicts the what do you call that? I forgot it. So Azure Synapses analysis is also not related to this one. Azure Function is again running the piece of code in the Azure. You need to be notified when Microsoft plans to perform maintenance that can affect the resources deployed to the Azure subscription. Need to be notified when Microsoft plans to perform maintenance that can affect the Azure resources. So this Azure service helps to notify the planned activities from the Microsoft. So Trust Center is different. Azure Advisor, recommendations for the security and compliance related monitoring to the monitor. That's not related to the question. And Azure Web App that queries and on-premise Microsoft SQL Server example of. So we were talking about web app getting the data from the on-premise. So that's the hybrid approach because we have the Azure and the on-premise services. A Microsoft SQL Server database that is hosted in the cloud and has the software updates managed by Azure is an example of. So here, Microsoft SQL Server database hosted in the Azure as a software updates managed by Azure. So yeah, software. This is the PaaS, platform as a service, where all the updates are done by the Microsoft, not the end user. Wherein infrastructure as a service, you have to take care of the managing the updates, and software as a service. So everything is given to you, platform and infrastructure. So the answer is PaaS. Azure Site Recovery provides Dash for virtual machines. Site Recovery provides the disaster recovery, not default tolerance or elasticity or high availability. So these two are elasticity, high availability is unrelated to this one, and then the recovery is answered. Microsoft SQL Server 2019 installed on Azure Virtual Machine is an example of. So here we are talking about Azure Virtual Machine. Azure Virtual Machine is actually the PaaS. It's not the platform as a service. So Azure Virtual Machine is the infrastructure service. So the answer is no. Azure SQL Database is an example of PaaS. Yes. So you're not managing any virtual machines here. So this is the PaaS service. When you are implementing software as a service, you are responsible for configuring the SaaS solution. So installation is done by service provider. So here we were talking about only the software as a service. Defining the scalability rules, that's in the VMs, configuring the high availability, again the IaaS. Azure Sentinel can collect the Microsoft Defender firewall logs from Azure Virtual Machines. That is to collect the logs from the log workspace. Restricts which virtual machine types can be created in subscription. Azure policy, you can define a policy to restrict which virtual machine types can be created. So you can say, I don't want my developers to create the high-end configurable VM. So that can be defined inside the Azure policy. So blueprints are like the architectural services, not related to this question. Resource locking and unlocking tags, again for use for the billing purpose. Identify which resources that are associated with the specific cost centers. Cost centers, again, Azure tags. Deploy a complete Azure application environment, including resource configuration and role assignment. Resource configuration and role assignment is complete Azure application environment. So that is actually coming up with the package in the Azure blueprints. With Azure reservations, you pay less virtual machines here. So because we are reserving for 2 years, 3 years, so it drastically reduce the price. So the answer is yes. Okay, so thanks for listening this. So I'll continue making more videos. So yeah, you may want to like or subscribe my videos. Thank you.